Okay, you first you give him some water, drop of water. Take a drop of water, sir, please. हम आ रहे हैं. मुझे
क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाने से मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान आया, उसने उसको गोली मार दी
यहाँ पे.
उसने बोला कि ये शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी.
सख्त कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए उनके ऊपर. ऐसी कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए कि एक 2 टके के आतंकवादी भारत सरकार को चैलेंज करके चले गए.
हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं, हिंदुस्तान हमारा है. भारत माता की जय. पाकिस्तान मुर्दाबाद. मजलूमों का कत्लेआम बंद करो, बंद करो.
कुछ लोग पर्यटक जो घूमने आए थे अपने परिवार के साथ और उनको वहां उनका नाम पूछिए, उनको मारा गया. बड़ी शर्मनाक घटना है ये.
तो हम जैसे निकले, मैंने मिसेस को आगे निकाला, घोड़े में वहाँ पे कीचड़ दी और पीछे से गोलियां कंटिन्यू चलने लगी बहुत.
टेररिज्म के खिलाफ हमारी जीरो टॉलरेंस की पॉलिसी है.
Kashmir hasn't seen a terrorist attack like this one in decades. Vicious, savage murder, specifically targeting civilians and tourists. Hello and welcome to Inside South Asia with me, Hem Kaur Saroya. Amid the tears and agony erupting from the valley, India has kicked off its response against Pakistan, in keeping with its zero-tolerance policy on terror.
I say to the whole world, India will identify, track and punish every terrorist.
The Cabinet Committee on Security led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi met for over 2 hours in New Delhi on Wednesday, a day after the attack. A string of measures were announced aiming to tighten screws on Pakistan and isolate the country internationally. As conjecture continues on whether there will be a military response and what dimensions that may take, the Indian government has laid down 5 major steps it's taking with immediate effect. The Indus Water Treaty with Pakistan has been put on hold. The Atari Wagah border checkpost stands closed. The daily beating retreat ceremony may be called off. New Delhi has suspended SAARC visa travel privileges to Pakistani nationals. All Pakistani citizens currently in India under the SAARC framework have been given 48 hours to leave the country. Moreover, India has tightened the diplomatic channels as well. It has expelled all Pakistani military advisors posted in its high commissions in India. The overall strength of the respective high commissions will be brought down to 30. As both countries come face to face in the diplomatic arena, India has also ordered its military forces on the border to remain vigilant. There's a plethora of questions being asked, and what emerges right on top is the message the terrorists and their masters wish to put out. First, an attack on tourists at a time when tourist traffic to the Kashmir Valley had taken off and a confidence had returned. The attack comes in the backdrop of the Amarnath Yatra scheduled to get underway in July. Not to be missed also is an attack on civilians happening when US Vice President is visiting. It's clear also that Pakistan sees creating mayhem in Kashmir and blocking normalcy as a badge that it can flaunt before the world.
We want peace.
For the social fabric in Kashmir, a terror attack on civilians and tourists is a blow that throws the region back years. Confidence that had been built up to levels healthy enough for rising tourist traffic to return stands shattered once again. Rebuilding it from there may take decades once again.
After the Pahalgam attack, India is now applying multi-pronged strategy to counter these kind of attacks. On one hand, we are seeing that anti-militant operations across Jammu and Kashmir have been intensified. Meanwhile, on the other, we are seeing that through diplomacy, India is also talking to all the ally countries to isolate Pakistan. We are seeing that Indian security forces, specially posted on the line of control and an international border, have intensified vigil on the line of control as well. Now it's to be seen how Indian government actually retaliates and tries to nab the attackers who took out the brutal Pahalgam killings. With video journalist Feroz Idris Loan for WION World is One.
On a landmark visit to India, US Vice President J.D. Vance says there's good progress towards a US-India trade deal. India hopes for relief on steep tariffs within the 90-day pause announced by President Donald Trump. Beyond the business leg of this visit, Vance's 4-day trip also showcased his personal relationship with India. Take a look.
The US second in command comes to India. Right on top of Vice President J.D. Vance's India visit is laying the ground for the direction of New Delhi-Washington ties ahead in the Trump era. Vance met Prime Minister Modi in Delhi. His office said the talks were an opportunity to negotiate a new and modern trade agreement focused on promoting job creation and citizen well-being in both countries. Beyond trade tariffs ahead, talks focused on defense, energy, strategic technologies, as per a statement from the Prime Minister's office. In Jaipur on Tuesday, Vance announced Washington and New Delhi are negotiating the first tranche of a trade deal, with assurances that positives are well on track. As he stressed the importance of India-US ties amid global flux.
And we were especially excited to formally announce that America and India have officially finalized the terms of reference for the trade negotiation. I think this is a vital step. Thank you. I believe this is a vital step toward realizing President Trump's and Prime Minister Modi's vision, because it sets a roadmap toward a final deal between our nations. I believe that if India and the United States work together successfully, we are going to see a 21st century that is prosperous and peaceful. But I also believe that if we fail to work together successfully, the 21st century could be a very dark time for all of humanity.
The US Vice President in India is a precursor to President Trump's likely visit later this year for the Quad Summit. And as of now, even alongside some concerns raised by the White House, Vance's words and body language say the trajectory in ties remains positive.
Moving on, the clock ticks for tens of thousands of Afghan nationals living illegally in Pakistan, with Islamabad warning they will be forcibly deported if they don't leave by the 30th of April deadline. Many of these Afghans who don't have Pakistani documents say they've been living in Pakistan for generations and fear a dark future for themselves and their children across the border. This issue has taken on strong diplomatic overtones. Here's more.
700 to 800 families cross the border every day. Close to 100,000 people have left Pakistan into Afghanistan this month, says Pakistan's Interior Ministry, ahead of the deadline next week. Several tens of thousands are expected to follow in days to come or face eviction. More than 3.5 million Afghans have been living in Pakistan, according to the UN's refugee agency. This includes around 700,000 people who came after the Taliban takeover in 2021. The UN estimates that half are undocumented. For many of these people, being pushed back into Afghanistan is a return to a dark abyss. Talibani nightmares they've experienced firsthand or heard of against women, against education and more tell them huge uncertainties await.
I stayed here for the sake of my children. Now, if there are schools there, I'll enroll them. Otherwise, their education will be lost.
What would I do if I went to Afghanistan? I was born here, and I had my children here. I got married here. My employer is Pakistani. I earn my living here. Where would I live if I went to Afghanistan? I have nothing there, neither land nor any other property. I was born here. I am happy with the Pakistan government. I request it to give me citizenship.
Pakistan has taken in Afghans through decades of war, but the government says the high number of refugees now poses risks to national security. That's besides the pressure on employment and public services amid a shattered economy. The hostility has manifested in police action and even glimpses of an unfriendly public attitude towards Afghans. Afghans in Pakistan report arbitrary arrests, extortion and harassment by authorities.
In recent days, we Afghans have been treated with such humiliation. Women were taken to camps, dragged from their homes and left without shelter. Their belongings were still in the house, but the women were brought here. That's when we thought, if tomorrow they come for us and disgrace us the same way, it's better to leave on our own. I had 2 wheat fields. They are gone now. I had a vehicle loaded with firewood. That's been left behind too. I sold my motorcycle and rickshaw for cheap, just to make it out.
Pakistan's top diplomat Ish Akhtar was in Kabul for a day last week for discussions with Afghan Taliban officials on a range of growing issues of friction. Ties between the neighbors have soured over the last few years. Pakistan's April 30th deadline, refusing extensions and exceptions outright, hasn't helped. Afghanistan's acting PM Hassan Akhund spelt it out. Rather than collaborating with the Islamic Emirate on the gradual repatriation process, Pakistan's unilateral measures are intensifying the problem and hindering progress towards a solution, he said. He urged the Pakistani government to facilitate the dignified return of Afghan refugees, according to a statement on X. The deportation issue has extended to violence at points along the border. Besides allegations of the Taliban fanning insurgencies in Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in Pakistan, it boils down to the question of whether Pakistan can afford a hostile regime across its western border. On the other side, the Taliban knows frosty ties with Pakistan will affect their commercial and trade interests. Its effort to gain greater international recognition are on the line too. Diplomacy is a double-edged sword. Maybe Pakistan and the Taliban still need to come to terms with that.
In Nepal, a women's community forest user group is transforming forest litter into organic fertilizer, creating a sustainable source of income while safeguarding the ecosystem. These women built a successful climate-resilient green business and have also enabled a 70% reduction in forest fires over the past year. Marking World Earth Day on the 22nd of April, here's more on this story.
March-April is wildfire season in Nepal. More than 600 such fires have been reported in the last month. Rising temperatures and an abundance of dry fuel makes things worse, with even a small fire often turning uncontrollable. Here's a community that's making a difference. Members of the all-women Binai community forest user group collect forest litter, including bark, leaves and sticks. Turning it into organic fertilizer is an added positive.
By removing unnecessary litter from the forest, we have significantly reduced the risk of fires. With fewer fires, the environment has become cleaner, which has also had a direct positive impact on human health. Additionally, the biofertilizers we produce after processing the waste are organically pure, making them safer for human health and more suitable and environmentally friendly.
Nina is one of 20 women in the group who began producing fertilizer from forest litter nearly a decade back. COVID-19 and the earthquake interrupted activities. They began again in 2022. Their Binai enterprise initially produced 12,500 kilograms of biofertilizer every year. Today, the women generate 60,000 kilograms a year, and their target is to scale it up to 125,000 kilograms. Financial support comes from grants from the Forest and Farm Facility, a partnership hosted by the UN and local partners. Municipal governments have provided a 50% subsidy to scale up production by investing in new machinery and specialist soil advice.
We advised them on how to expand the initiative further and identified the need for capital. After discussions with the local government, it has now invested in the project and arranged the necessary capital.
The enterprise has turned into a win-win solution covering many sections. Some 400 new jobs have been created. Local farmers have increased safe food production by using organic fertilizer. And production capacity is up with better crop growth and development.
Our community forest has become a model example. We started with one forest, but we are now gradually expanding to 6 to 7 forests, engaging in interactive discussions to guide our work. We are also open to collaboration with others. Last year, we partnered with 6 community forests, and next year, we aim to expand our efforts to 42 community forests.
With roughly 43% of Nepal covered by trees, protecting forests while creating sustainable livelihoods is crucial for many communities across the country. It promotes climate resilience, drives food security, and reaches for UN Sustainable Development Goals. The initiative fits perfectly into what Nepal needs.
Now, tens of thousands of pilgrims gathered in Sri Lanka's holy city of Kandy at the start of a rare display of a prized Buddhist relic. Sri Lankan President Anura Kumara Dissanayake officially launched this exhibition by offering flowers to what Buddhists in Sri Lanka believe to be the left canine tooth of Lord Buddha. Take a look. The Hindu Kush Himalayan region is showing a worrying pattern. The region has recorded its third consecutive below normal snow year. This direct impact of global warming puts water scarcity of nearly 2 billion people across 12 major river basins at risk. Our next report explores.
The Hindu Kush Himalayan region, often referred to as the third pole, spans 4.2 million square kilometers across 9 countries, including India, Nepal, Bhutan and Pakistan. Its significance can be gauged by the fact that it is the source of as many as 10 major river systems, such as the Ganga, Indus, and Brahmaputra. A third of the global mountain population and a fifth of the world's population overall is dependent on these rivers for agriculture, hydropower, and drinking water. According to the 2025 Snow Update report by the International Center for Integrated Mountain Development, snow persistence, which refers to the duration of time snow remains on the ground after snowfall during the 2024-2025 winter, was lowest in 23 years, at 23.6% below normal. Through all 12 river basins recorded deficits, the Mekong and Salween basins, with nearly 50% snow persistence below normal, recorded the steepest declines. Worryingly for India and Pakistan, the Ganga, Indus, and Brahmaputra basins, which are among the most densely populated and agriculturally dependent regions, also recorded significant declines. According to experts, the reduced snow cover, coupled with weak spring precipitation, can lead to reduced river runoff. The chances of drought might increase even if global warming is restricted to 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is easier said than done. Nearly one-third of the Hindu Kush Himalayan region glaciers could melt by the turn of the century, further threatening seasonal water flows. Given such a dismal scenario, the need of the hour is immediate basin-level adaptive water management strategies, drought preparedness, and stronger collaboration among regional stakeholders. That's perhaps the only way to safeguard agriculture, hydropower, and natural ecosystems in snow-fed areas, with 4 of the past 5 winters experiencing below normal snow persistence. The clock is ticking fast to address this crisis situation.
And with that, it's a wrap on our show today. We'll leave you with the visuals of tributes that are pouring in from around South Asia for Pope Francis, who passed away on Monday. Take a look. We'll see you next week.
In a move to slash federal funding, the Trump administration plans to shut embassies in 8 African countries, including the Central African Republic, Congo, Eritrea, Gambia, Lesotho, and South Sudan. Somalia launches voter registration in the capital Mogadishu for the first time in over 50 years, a step towards universal suffrage ahead of presidential elections scheduled for 2026 in the volatile nation. And an autistic Nigerian teen artist wins the Guinness World Records for the